Hi, how are you today? This is a one-way thing, so there's no way for you to answer me. How am I doing? None of your business. Today we're going to talk about Futurama. Futurama is that show made by Matt Growing Brain that isn't The Simpsons. And, uh, uh, um, I don't know. Um, now that that's out of the way, I'm the most important part of the show. Futurama came after one of the most iconic shows in television history. So, like most shows, you would expect, oh, it's gonna not do so well. However, that was not the case. For one, it paved the way for shows like Rick and Morty having a writing team of physicists and people who know actual science, and it's a show set in the future, so they can be like, yo, science fiction stuff, it doesn't work. Let's make that into a joke. The plot of the show is that some pizza delivery boy named Fry, or actually Philip is his name, but we call him Fry because Philip is a stupid name, I guess. So he goes to deliver pizza. It's New Year's of 1999, Y2K. Most of you are probably too young to remember that.
Dude, you're barely old enough to remember that.
So he's at like this sciencey lab place. But anyway, there's this time chamber, and it's like, oh, Happy New Year, and he's like leaning back in the chair. That thing that your parents told you, if you do that, you're gonna fall. And then what happens? He falls. And he ends up in the time chamber thing that freezes him for 1,000 years, and he wakes up in the year 3000. Once he gets there, there's this one-eyed lady who's like, you can't be doing whatever, and then he throws her in the chamber, and then he's like, I'll leave you in there for like a minute or whatever. Then he meets this robot, and they go in a suicide booth and almost die. Some stuff happens in between. He meets his nephew, who's a professor, and then it sets the stage for the rest of the series, where the three of them, the one-eyed lady, the robot, and Fry, they become a delivery team. And the one-eyed lady's name is Leela and Bender. And also, there's a Squid Man and a bureaucrat, and hold on. I actually need to, this is very unprofessional. I'm Googling the show while I'm, because I forgot something.
Dude, are you really gonna Google the thing in the middle of the...
Yes, because I don't remember what it was. I don't remember a, like, key thing, okay? Fucking sue me, alright? This show's been around for, like, going on 20 years in a couple of years. There's a lot to remember, alright? It has its own world building and shit. Like, there's all these specific facts about just the Futurama universe. It had, like, over a decade to develop all of that. Like, there's a lot to remember, alright? And Amy's an intern, that was what it was. I couldn't remember what her relevance was to the story. Yeah, and also there's Zap Brannigan and Kif, and Zap Brannigan is like, I'm Zap Brannigan, and that's his whole character. The thing that I think sets Futurama apart from most shows is the fact that it takes its premise and runs with it in a very specific way. To elaborate, you know, we have episodes where, you know, Fry goes back and visits his mom in her dream with the help of that Time Lord thing. Fuck, I don't know. That's a robot, alright? That's a spaceship. What was I getting at? We have these episodes where it's like, you know, we see Fry's dog who waited for him, and all these episodes where we see, like, even Leela, who has grown up 100% in this generation in which the story takes place. We go back and we see her roots as an orphan and how her parents still try to play a subtle but active part in her life despite not being able to be around and hoping that she would have a better life. And we see sacrifice, and we see all these things happening in the show and all these flashbacks that make us so emotional, and it's in a way making us face a lot of the sadness that comes with nostalgia. It's that feeling when you go back to your old neighborhood that you grew up in, and you remember the memories that you had, and you realize that all of that is gone now. And even though you're very happy with the way things are now, you look at that and you look at like your old school where you made all these friends that you don't talk to anymore, and you think of all the great times you had, and it makes you sad. And the thing that this show does is it takes that emotion and it just makes you face that head on. And that is powerful. And that's part of the reason why Futurama is like one of the best shows of our generation. And also, like, bite my shiny metal ass. Am I right, LMAO? So I don't know what to say anymore. And Zoidberg was like fucking weird, bro.